Lights up!
Everybody to another episode of Lights Up, the podcast of Putney Theatre Company. I'm joined here today by a few of the cast members of our next production, Great Expectations. I'm going to start with one of our newest members, Kat. Welcome. Hello.
Hi, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thrilled that you're here. Now tell us, who are you playing?
I'm playing young Pip, also known as Pipette by the cast. Yeah.
A petite Pipette.
Yes.
Nice.
Petite Pipette. And I'm also playing sort of several other characters in the second act. So I'm playing a maid and a sergeant and all.
Because I think with those people who are not familiar with this particular adaptation of Great Expectations, it's an ensemble cast, which I have to say, I am a sucker for an ensemble cast. I love an ensemble cast because it means you get to play lots of different roles.
Yeah.
So you play about 4 who just reeled off.
Yes, I do, yeah. And I've got a lot of costume changes that happen, which can be
It's a bit
challenging.
bonkers. I'm going to say, I just watched a run through, which is fantastic to watch. But you guys have a hell of a job. You're up and down, bonnets on, bonnets off, lots of costumes. It's quite, you've got to be focused.
Yeah. Well, we're never off the stage. We're just always on the stage. We change on stage. We get our props on stage. So really, we're sort of constantly being watched, which is a little bit scary.
Do you feel a little exposed?
Oh, very exposed.
Or do you like it?
I can't answer that fully. I mean, I do like it a little bit.
A little bit of exposure.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little, glimpse.
Moving smoothly on. a turn of an ankle. We have Ian, and Ian's been with Putney for, how long now?
A year, I think.
Is it only a year?
Yeah,
No.
slightly less. So first show was Bernarda.
It feels like you've been here forever.
But then I was in one a couple of years back, Robin Hood.
So you lied, basically.
No, I've only been a member again since I took like a 2-year out with a sort of little pandemic sort of thing.
Oh, yes, that thing. Yeah. Now, you're playing Pip, not the elder, but just Pip full stop.
Big Pip, little Pip, cardboard box. But Pip, yeah. That's my character. I'm in a little square of raised stage, which I've affectionately termed the Pip cage.
Cage.
The Pip cage, yeah, because I never leave it. Everyone else goes off the stage and they hand me things, and I feel like as if, you know how you'd have lackeys? I feel like I've got an entire set of lackeys.
It hasn't gone to your head at all.
I hope you haven't told the cast this, yeah.
Oh, I just have, sorry.
Exactly. But it's told from Pip's point of view, isn't it? So Pip is retelling the story of his Great Expectations, but with no spoiler alert for people.
Just as with the novel itself, it's told from Pip's perspective, and indeed the adaptation tries to preserve as much of Dickens' language as possible.
So did you find that difficult when you've been learning your lines? Because it's a bit more flowery, isn't it, than we would speak today?
Yes. There's a couple of lines that are very difficult to learn.
Oh, go and give us one.
Oh, go on.
You can't remember
Wait,
them.
is it going to be the blundering one? Blundering, brutal.
Oh, that's just because I've got a slight speech impediment.
No.
I think there's one which goes something like, would there be any objection to my taking my leave of any persons before I go away? Which is just a load of
trips off the tongue,
subclause.
doesn't it, people? What's wrong with you? The great thing is they will know that line now, so they'll
Damn
be
it.
listening out for it. Otherwise, you could have got away with it.
I
Because
probably got it
everyone
wrong
knows the
just
script.
then.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, you've got to say goodbye to someone. What? Yeah, there's
Oh gosh.
Now,
Yeah,
this is
I
the
know,
voice
awful.
of Ellen Fife. Now, Ellen has been with the Putney Theatre Company for...
since 2014.
But your parents are also very much part of Putney as
Yes,
well, weren't
and
they?
grandparents. I think I'm the only third generation. The first third generation, just in case anyone else decides to carry on procreating. I just want to make sure I've got my level of authority there.
Oh, absolutely. I think we should all bow and curtsy in the future. So now you play Estella.
Yes.
Now she is a piece of work, my friend.
Is it really bad that when I was a kid, I actually really admired Estella?
Did you model yourself on her? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I think I wished I was as mean as she could be, because she doesn't hold back sometimes.
She doesn't. Any redeeming features?
I think so, but I think that's sort of whenever you play a character, you've got to find that common ground with the character to make it believable. You've got to find a piece of yourself that goes into them and vice versa. So, I mean, it doesn't matter how horrible they are. By the end of the show, you're going to be defending them to the death.
Well, yes, because the point is, isn't it, you don't want to make them two-dimensional.
Exactly.
Because from an audience point of view, you don't want to be just portraying the baddie.
Exactly, and she's someone who's had, I mean, without spoilers, very complicated upbringing, and that greatly impacts her interactions throughout the play. And so for me, I think, although a lot of people would say she might be callous, but for me, there's a lot of sympathy and insecurities around her as well.
Well, there's a reason why she is the way she is, basically.
Exactly.
So there's a little bit more fragility to her.
I think so, and I'm trying to hope I can make that come across so that people don't hate me by the end.
No, I enjoyed it very much today, yeah. So it goes up on the 8th of November. I'm playing until the 12th, obviously on our main stage.
Yes.
And a Saturday matinee, I understand.
There is.
Yeah.
Larks aplenty. Fabulous. So, as we said before, this adaptation has an ensemble cast as opposed to just the main protagonists. So, during rehearsals, what's been the process? Is it been very, very strict to the script? You know, stand up, sit down, pass this, or have you had more? Is it a bit more improvised?
I mean, we are mostly sticking to the script. I mean, you have to use that as your base, obviously, but there have been a few changes, I think, as there are with any adaptation, any production that you do of a script, especially when it's an adaptation, you're trying to make it work. And I think with the original cast, there's a list of how the ensemble roles were divided in that, and we've done it slightly differently.
Ooh, nice.
Which has meant a couple of changes in how we can do things, not according to that script, purely because people are in the different locations, for one example.
And because how we can actually do it on our stage as opposed to at the National.
Yeah, it's slightly smaller.
Yeah, I have to say that it is, from an audience point of view, when you're watching something that you are all on stage at all times, it's actually, bizarrely, it's not distracting at all. You would think it, wouldn't you, that you see everybody else sort of on the sidelines, but actually it doesn't. I think it really adds, because although you're concentrating on the main protagonist in that particular scene, the people in the sort of in your periphery just add more. So it's actually really interesting. So basically you have to be acting at all times. Don't think that you can't, because I will notice.
Oh, no. We know.
Tells us.
Yeah.
He lets us know all the time.
Does he?
Yeah.
And so your favourite part that you play, Kat?
Well, obviously I love playing young Pip. I've got to be honest, I love, occasionally, I mean, I get hit several times in this play.
I'm
and
really
it's the
sorry
best.
for the time I hit you, by the way.
Well, you see, yes, but I mean, Joe really goes for it every time, and I've got to say, I actually really enjoy it, because it's a lot of fun sort of doing that sort of physical stuff as well. It's quite nice. I think it's really, really enjoyable getting hit by Biddy like Mrs. Joe like 50 times in the play.
You okay, Han?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Smack you with a spoon.
She smacks me with a spoon, a hand, a backhand. I've got a fist at one point. It's all very enjoyable.
That's cool. I've got the name of the therapist over
But you, I guess you play Stella, but you also play the police sergeant.
Yeah,
but I'm
police
assuming
sergeant,
Stella's your favourite character.
I mean, I actually quite like having the difference between the two of them, because I mean, Estella, she's a much more naturalistic character, whereas in Dickens you do get those slightly more absurd characters, and I kind of like having that balance with being the sergeant and being that more expressive and slightly more physical.
But it's more fun, isn't it, as an actor's point of view, to be able to play more than just one.
Yeah,
sorry, love, you're playing just Pip.
Well, I'm pretty happy with just playing Pip. It's a lot of lines.
Yeah, you've got enough lines, I guess.
I've got enough lines. And then sometimes Ian gives me more. He's like, I don't actually want them saying that.
Yes, you have a lot of lines. So if you, an audience member who, I mean, I can't imagine that you've never heard of Great Expectations, sum it up for me in a couple of sentences. What is Great Expectations? Oh, can I even say it? What is Great Expectations?
Growing up.
It's just larger than life characters that are very complex, and yet at the same time they're so down to earth in a way that they're so tangible, and they're so you really want to meet these people. And I think that this specifically as well, with the cast that we've got playing these incredible well beloved characters like Miss Haversham, like Magwitch, you really want to get in there. And I feel like with this ensemble cast, you really kind of get that same sense of feeling. So as an audience member, that's what really draws you to it.
So basically you've got lots of different characters for the price of one, basically, don't you? So that's always been, and we haven't even touched on Miss Haversham. I feel like, but I'm not going to, because she is so, everybody knows the character. And Claire's not here, who plays her.
She does such a wonderful job,
But it is a very different performance, I think, than you would necessarily associate with Miss Haversham. There's a lovely sense of fragility there and vulnerability, whilst also being, clearly terribly bitter.
Yeah.
God love her. You wouldn't want to cross with her, would you, really?
No.
Yeah. So on that note, yes, come and see it, peeps. But you're almost 2 weeks out, 2 weeks and 2 days.
Yes.
Not to fear you at all. Yeah. But no, I think you're in really great shape. It's going to be cracking.
That's nice to know. Thank you.
It is. But for being 2 weeks out, it's hey, people, you've definitely got a show, number one. But it's going to be a phenomenal show. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the finished article.
Fantastic.
I encourage everybody to come and see it. As I said before, it's on from the 8th to the 12th of November, with the matinee on the Saturday in our main auditorium. Tickets available through all the normal channels via our website, www.putneyartstheatre.org.uk, on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So plenty of ways to be able to buy your tickets.
Thank you so much for listening. This is a real Putney Theatre Company production. Do share the podcast with your friends and take a look at our website, searching online for the Putney Theatre Company. So that's it for now. See you next time.